Kia ora guys and welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name's Max and I'm the host over here at this channel, and a big thank you to my patrons as per normal. For today's video, Argentina have named their squad for the 2023 Rugby World Cup. Michael Cheika has named a very experienced side with over 1,000 test caps in total across the 33 players, and 18 of the 33 players have already been to a World Cup before. This includes Augustine Creevy, the 100 test hooker, and Nicolas Sanchez, the 97 test first five, who are going to their 4th World Cup. I know, it's crazy. This is a very experienced team that will really want some redemption after 2019 as well, where they failed to make it out of the pool stage. So for this video, I'm going to break down who's in the team, why they've been selected, and at the end, I'll share a few thoughts with you guys. The hookers, who I mentioned before, was Augustine Creevy. He is incredible. He is one of the greatest hookers of all time. In his prime, he was known as Sonny Bill Creevy for his offload game, and if you need experience off the bench, he is the man for the job. Not to be outdone though, because Julian Montoya, who was once his pupil, is now the captain of the team. Montoya himself is now a very experienced player. Though he's played nearly 50 tests as a replacement, he is well and truly one of the best players in this team now. 4 years ago, he was one of the star try scorers in 2019, and now he is here as the key leader for this team. And Ignacio Ruiz has been given the hands up, yes sir, you are indeed the heir apparent at hooker, which is absolutely amazing for the 22-year-old who is starting to blossom his skill set a little bit more. As for the props, I was a bit surprised not to see Maiko Vivas at loosehead prop. They've only gone for 5, and so I'm assuming Eduardo Bello is going to cover both positions. Tomas Gaijo, he is a player that has shown a lot of form in the last 2 years, but a wholesome story, probably the most wholesome of this team, is that Francisco Gomez Codea, he is 38 years old, at the same age as Creevy, but he has never been to a World Cup before, so this is absolutely huge for the tight head prop. He's backed up in the position by Joel Slavi, who is 138 kgs, a massive man-mountain of a guy, impossible move at the scrum, and Nawel Tetaz Chaparro, the reserve loosehead prop, has now got over 70 test caps, so though they've only got 5, they are well stacked at prop. The locks, no huge surprises there. Matias Alemano and Tomas Lavanini have been the preferred combo in the 2020s, whereas Guido Petty is in for his 3rd World Cup at the age of 28 years old. It's a very good selection to have Petty there. He's starting to get close to 80 tests, whereas Lavanini and Alemano have already approached it. And Pedro Rubiolo, the 20-year-old, is the youngest player in the team. With just 3 test caps, the guy doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, but here we go, a very well balanced selection in my opinion. They haven't needed a 5th because of Santiago Grondona and Marcos Kramer. The 2 blind sides are both 6'6", 1.99 meters, so they can both cover lock and 6. Kramer, on the other hand, I will just correct myself here, is 2.01 meters to 6'7". Both very big boys. They can all pretty much play anywhere from lock to blindside to 8, a lot of these loose forwards. Rodrigo Bruni, though, is definitely going to be a good specialist number 8 for this team, as will Facundo Issa. Though I'm not 100% sure who's going to be starting at 8 at this point, because 4 of the players in this team have done it before, it's good to have them both there for experience. Pablo Matera, at just 30 years old, though, has 90 tests. He is definitely one of the headline names in this squad. He is about to overtake Creevy and Sanchez after they get their swan song at this World Cup, and I'm very excited for that. He's been moving back to open side, though, because of Juan Martin Gonzalez, who was the open side for them last year at 6. But he started to play a fair few minutes at number 8 this season, which is really interesting, and hopefully, you know, that one doesn't backfire. Over to the backs. Halfback is really interesting. Lautaro Bazan Velez has got the nod as the 3rd choice. I'm very happy to see that. He's in good form right now. Gonzalo Bertranu and Santiago Carreras. The combination between those two, it's been lit. So Bertranu was always going. The real thing that shows real faith to me, though, is that Tomas Kubeli, the 88 test veteran, has not played at all this year, but they are counting on him to be injury-free in time and giving him complete and total trust. That is a huge endorsement of backing your team, and such words from Cheika about trusting the players is really going to make them feel good before the tournament and heighten their spirits before everything begins. Sanchez, who I've mentioned multiple times throughout this video, he isn't going to be starting at 10 though because of Santiago Carreras, who is in the combination with Bertranu. Santiago Carreras was a fullback back for 2019. He was one of the youngest players back then at 21, but now the 25-year-old has fully converted into a 10. His kicking game is getting absolutely unreal. Though he isn't the first choice goal kicker, his decision making is very solid. He's always good at picking out the carriers, so that's a fair selection as well. The midfielders though, this one also puzzled me a little bit. Santiago Chocobari is good to have him back from injury. Exactly the same to Geronimo Della Fuente, even better to have him back from injury as he has played the most minutes at 12 throughout this World Cup cycle. Lucio Cinti though, I am hoping that he is going to be playing at 13 because he is a shocker at 12 against the All Blacks. He's far better in that position, and considering the fact that he's been picked over Matthias Orlando, this is definitely a huge gamble and I hope it works out for them during the pool stages. Matthias Moroni though has kept himself safe and he'll likely continue in the 13 jersey, which I'm very happy about, as it is going to be his third World Cup alongside Della Fuente. The old dogs are going to get their swan song one more time over in midfield as well. As for the outside backs, the fact that they've picked 6 seems a little bit excessive to me. Like, don't you think it would have been more important to pick 6 props instead of 6 outside backs? Perhaps they just wanted to have that insurance policy at fullback with Martin Borgado picked after just 1 test cap. He's a current Highlander in Super Rugby right now. He hasn't played a heck of a lot this year due to injury, but perhaps they're just a little bit worried about depth at fullback, so they've picked him. Emiliano Buffelli, whether he's on the 11 or the 14 side of the pitch, I don't care if he's on the left wing or the right wing, they just need him to kick those goals. That is a certainty. He was always going to be picked, and this is his second World Cup. Good to see him there. Mateo Carreras is now shaping up as well there to be the star try scorer of the team, so that's another selection I'm very happy with. Juan Emoff, though, is definitely getting a little bit old, so perhaps they felt it was nice to just have a little bit of experience in the backfield, and as he is the most experienced of the backfield players they've been picking recently for the outside backs, maybe they just felt he was the safest bet to help with the team culture off the pitch potentially. As for the last 2 outside backs, Rodrigo Isgro definitely played well on his debut. He was a star in the 7 scene. Was nice to see him get a good head out against Australia. And Juan Cruz Malia, the first choice fullback, will be back from suspension for the Rugby World Cup. And so Pumas fans, after holding their breaths, can relax to see him in the team. So overall, what do I think of the squad? I've said this multiple times before that I don't necessarily agree with how the draw has been laid out for this World Cup, but it also presents Argentina a prime opportunity. The last time France hosted the World Cup was in 2007, and so if they can repeat 2007's effort, this time, now being a Tier 1 nation, perhaps they could be the key giant killers that Sean Maloney mentioned on the commentary against the Wallabies. This team hasn't necessarily developed the habit of winning I'd have liked to have seen, but considering we didn't really get proper insights into Cheika's tactics, perhaps this is all just part of the plan. Ireland and France remain favourites, but if anyone is going to spoil their party, at this rate it is going to be Los Pumas of Argentina. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. As said before, you can subscribe to me or join my Patreon to give a little bit of support, everything like that. Remember to like this video and leave a comment as well if you really enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you on the next one. I'm also on it on Instagram and on Threads. Cheers, guys, one more time from Max.